Good morning. I don't know what the internet connection is like out here, so this video might be jumpy and bumpy. And I just figured I'd show you some updates. Morning, Luda. We took the playpen out of the chicken pen now. And then we had harvested the cherries from the cherry bushes. So I removed those bags so they could lay out in the sun and get rinsed off and dried. And having stuff out in the sun to dry is a really good idea to kill germs. The sun is actually a good disinfectant. So we're going to have to do that, take care of that. I finally took all of the plastic off of the pepper greenhouse arch. It was collecting water too, so we won't store this until it's dry. So what we'll do right now, I just laid it out right now because there were like bugs or water or whatever on there, so we're gonna lay it out and keep them nice and let it dry out, and then we will open it up and fold it neatly. Chief's really good at doing that. And then this was the bug netting. This is the long bug netting that we had used for the for that last cherry bush instead of the bags. So I took that out and I spread it way open. I'll fold it up and put it away. But there were bugs stuck in there too, so I wanted the bugs to have a chance to get out and do their thing. So those are some additional things I did yesterday. I also added snakes to the peach tree, to the outer edges of the peach tree where some of the peaches are. Rubber snakes, because the birds don't like snakes. I got to bring my owl out as well. And I over in this garden, this protected garden over here, that's where the onions and carrots are. That was what the live was yesterday evening that I did. That was the very first area that we did, that I actually made a garden. There was nothing else here, nothing. It was wide open, just grass. And so I had to use really tall posts, which look kind of redundant and silly right now, because I didn't want deer to be bugging them and jumping into the garden. So I probably could end up replacing those posts at some point. I just haven't done it yet. There's other stuff going on too. But that's on the list of things to do. So I gave you the tour of that. I put the rubber snakes on. Oh yeah, I put my chlorine in my water trough pool. My shark floater with chlorine and a rock in the bottom to hold it down. You can see there's just a little thing sticking up to keep the water clean. It's going to be really hot this week, so I may end up taking a dip. And I am on vacation from my regular job as well, so I may end up taking a dip, scheduling it as one of my vacation activities that I do. What else? Oh, this access door over here to what we call the tunnel. On the other side of the fence, the gate, on the inside of the gate, I had there were 2 layers of chicken wire. Chicken wire is terrible to work with. It's metal, so it's harder for critters to chew through and get to, but it's also really pokey and hard to work with. So I replaced that with some of the deer fencing that I have left over, and it's a much better fit. So it opens from over on this side here, and it swings out this way. There's the hinges on this side. So that's replaced, and good deer fencing is nearly invisible. This is some of the good deer fencing I had left over. You can get cheap deer fencing from Walmart, and it's not a bad idea to do, but anyway, I did that. What else? And then I did it. Oh yeah, and in this onion and carrot garden I was telling you about, I did replace hoops under the bug netting for the Brussels sprouts, because the Brussels sprouts were getting taller, and they needed taller hoops. And I checked on them, and they look like they're gonna be delicious. So that's what I did yesterday. I thought there were a couple other things, but I can't remember. That's enough. It was Sunday. It was supposed to be a day of rest. But on the other hand, when you have animals and you have land to manage, you have to think about, what needs to be done. So this is the old coop. That's the new coop. It's in the process of being painted. So the old coop, I need to dismantle that today. We've already scrapped some of the pieces and some of the things off of it. So like the solar powered motion lights, there was one on either side. Those are already gone. I like the doors, but Chief won't let me keep the doors. Aren't those cute doors? Well, you can't tell because it's got plexiglass. But on the inside it has hardware cloth. Hardware cloth is best when you're keeping chickens because a raccoon can chew through chicken wire. It's thinner wire. And rats could squeeze through holes of chicken wire, but not in hardware cloth. These holes are like less than an inch. So rats can't get through, critters can't poke through, things like that. So hardware cloth is best for chickens. It was a nice coop. It was a great coop to start off with. There's nest boxes. There were 4, which is always more than what you need for your chickens because they're always going to fight over the same one. See, like that side over there? That had hardware cloth over there. Nothing bothered them, but still, it had a nice little vent that could slide closed when it was going to be like super rainy or blowy or windy or snowy. Otherwise, it had good ventilation. I had put some insulation at the very top. I had poked a vent hole up at the top with a screen because you really want ventilation. This section had 2 large plastic trays to keep the sand in and the poop. And like I said, we just roosts on either, a couple of roosts on either side. One was over here, one was here, and then this came with it. And these are like 1x1s, maybe, I think. And then there were these up here, same size. And then I actually had to add another roost to the top, which is kind of wobbly now. And it's this is technically a 1x1, so maybe this. Or 2x2, I don't know. Anyway, but this was it. So they would come up the ladder, go into here, jump up, or jump up and move over. And while it was good to keep them warm because they were all together, there's no way I could add more birds to it. No way, no how. So let's see. So and then they have good hinges, and I would put cotter pin through here because raccoons cannot get cotter pins out. They're too hard for them. So having this down in this way, and then this is just hay string to pull it, just to make it a little easier. It wasn't any big deal, any reason for that necessarily. Down below, this is an actual open access door, so you could let the chickens out into an area or not. In exposure to the elements, this is the one that would actually let them into their run over here, but exposure to the elements broke down the wood, so we had to replace some of the wood there. These down here are storage areas, and they're as deep as up until this door here for storage. I didn't store anything in there. Again, you can see some of the wood was starting to rot, but I bought this in the fall of 2019, and we assembled it and put it together. These nest boxes, I love these nest boxes. One, I love that there was a ridge here, so water would come down and it would not get into the nest boxes. I love that the hinges are down at the bottom to go downward to get the eggs. I love these latches, even though they're kind of hard sometimes, like if your hands were wet. These latches, can you tell how sturdy they are? Raccoons cannot get these without latches. That's what I'm most concerned about when it comes to fasteners and things. Can a raccoon open it? And they cannot. So it's got a tough spring, really hard spring, and this pin goes into a hole up at the top. Now, this coop was made with slats, separate slats. So that meant that some of the slats would move and there would be air that could come in. So I just put like cardboard here. and I would just tip it backward, get the eggs. They didn't usually have poop because all the poop was doing out there. They were doing the poop in there. Unless on the other side, let's see, on this side here, the little ones, of course, would like to sleep in here. Or like a big Betsy would sleep in there, so I would have to scoop it out. But they didn't really lay eggs over here once I opened these parts up. And again, they only needed 2 nest boxes, basically. I love these. They were really secure. That was the weak point. Nope. This part was the weak point right here. Just right here. But otherwise, it's like plastic wire. Or wire that's covered with plastic. Like, I don't know, like bicycle brake wire. And they're very secure, very sturdy. And it came as orange, you know, the cedar color. But I painted it on the outside to be blue. So Dave says, Chief, he says that I want to keep the doors just because I'm attached to the coop. And I know, because it was our first coop, like ever. So, I mean, it served a good purpose. And it was very well built as far as like it had this metal framework first. And then it had the wooden parts and it had pre-drilled holes. This came from Tractor Supply. This coop plus the metal pen, the 10 by 10 metal dog pen basically, is what came together as a set from Tractor Supply. And anyway, it was a good coop. This had a door that slid. This is on its side, so it slid back and forth for the flock to come in and out of the coop. I scavenged these slots for the inner door. I'll show you that in a minute. And yeah, so our new coop has 1 window. Woohoo! We're gonna do another window on the south side over here, so they'll have a lot of light during the winter time. These are reminders to myself. 1, I'm still working on, I moved the bricks here. I'm still working on it, and I gotta finish my path, so that reminds me. But the painter's coming back today, so I'll just move that out of the way. And this is a scratch cup. I'm gonna put that back in. These are the solar lights, and I installed those back in 2019, so they're still going strong as long as they can get charged in the daytime. So like having one here, if I get one here, I'm going to have to put it probably up higher to catch the sunlight, because it's got to charge for a certain amount. Actually, I would be better off probably to put it over on this fence, toward the top of the fence, because then I know, Luda, I'm coming. Because then anytime there's motion anywhere in here, the light will go on and it may startle whatever it is away. What else? I planted river birches. They are good for high winds. They're good for ice storms. They bounce back. They grow quickly. And I planted it so that they get some shade, a little bit of shade. Eventually what will happen is it will shade the coop. Got one here, got one here. And this, if you were following along from last year, this is the one I transplanted in May of last year. It's probably this tall. So they grow quickly, they provide really dense shade and protection for the flock. And like I said, this is going to, the sun will be behind my back here. And it's going to shade the chicken run area and the coop a little bit as well. And it's going to look like this and more. This one's doing pretty well too. This one is to try to shade this area and maybe the lot in the back, and to shade that back garage as well. Trying to use natural shade if at all possible. God forbid the power goes out. So when you're planting your trees, think about, what is it that you want to do with the tree. If you want it to be beautiful, put it somewhere you can see it. But if you don't want it to shade your gardens, make sure that's not in the south area of your garden. I have one more here, but it is so far over, it's not affecting these gardens here, And it's not affecting Josh Arch's gardens, and it's not affecting the orchard over there either. So, all right. So the coop. Yeah. Yep. I was gonna just do the morning process, but apparently I like to talk a lot. I've got. This is where we used to go in and out. There was a gate right here, but the coop's a little bit wider, so we'll have to reconfigure the fencing probably. But I do have solar power. Lights inside. This is for the twinkle lights. Very low light for them at night. This one is for the utility lights in case I need to go in and work on it during the nighttime or check something out in the nighttime. And they're facing southwest, basically. This is like right now it's an access point. They can get out into the yard. Anyway. So I come out. This is the dog pen. It's 10 by 10. Well, it's technically not. It came with the coop, the original blue coop. But it's 10 by 10, and it has like a roof frame as well. You had to buy a cover separately to put on it. It was a dog kennel cover. I'm coming. I like to hang things up like a chair, so they don't tend to get chicken pooped. Unfortunately, it looks like there's bird poop on it, like wild bird poop, because these holes are big enough that wild birds can get in, and they do. And they try to eat the feed, and they gather straw from the ground for their nests. I know you guys want to go outside. Hold on. So down here is where I put hardware cloth as well, because what raccoons are notorious for is reaching their hand in through holes, grabbing chickens by their heads and pulling them. So I don't want that happening to my chickens. So I have hardware cloth all the way around the outsides to protect from there. Now, I mean, if they get too close over here, obviously they can get in. The dog pen part, the 10 by 10, it's got a way to open from either way. So I can push in and open, or I can pull out and open. Since this is the west side, whoops, hi Noah. It gets a lot of sun, or it did before this big one is up here. It would get a lot of sun, so I'd use like a towel just to shade it a little bit, because if it's too sunny in the run, then waterers start getting algae inside, and that's no good. All right, I'm coming. Get back. Back. Good morning, everybody. That's the littles. No more playpen, so they roost instead, like they should. I try to keep the big birds' feeder higher, but these guys are getting big, and they're trying to eat them. The big food, and the big ones are trying to eat the little food. And I'm trying to decide. Thanks, Luda. I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to just mix the food or not. All right, this is Scratch Cup. Goes to Scratch over here. That's Shekinah. She sounds like a duck. They come running because this is the lid. All right, but here is the pop door going into the secure pen. And this is what they have access to nearly all. And again, I had that hardware cloth all the way at the top here, so critters can't get in. And then along the outside of this metal run, or metal pen, I laid down garden cloth, garden gate, like 2 foot, all along the external of the pen, so digging creatures can't get in easily. All right, so this was the pop door. I scavenged. Just a minute. I scavenged this one from the old coop, and it's a simple wire. Pulls up. Looks like a guillotine. Pulls up, and then I'm using this one hand, so I'm just gonna go loop it. There they go. Now, if they were smart, they would know to go in already. Are you taking off?
Yeah, I'm taking off.
Okay, bye.
I'll see.
See ya. Make sure you wipe your feet. You're gonna have full of poop.
Yeah. Look at her. She's just got
Martha.
tons of colors. Yeah.
Isn't she pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you guys talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Luna.
All right, bye. Have a good day at work. Okay, usually as soon as I open that outside door, they are gone. So to get outside though, they got to go up the ramp, into the coop, and then down the ramp. I'll show you because they're not going out. They heard the metal of the treat thing. So I'll get a little bit of treat, a little bit of scratch. Ah, I'll toss it out there so they'll go out. Where they go? Luda, show them what to do. There you go. He goes in. He goes out. He goes in. She goes out. There they go. It's like clown cars. I love it. It's fun. This way too. And this is the east side wall of the coop. So I don't know. I might have to make a an awning over the top of this to keep the door from getting snowed on or frozen shut. Don't know. I like to have fresh water around for them, so I use milk jugs too. This one's a covered one. It stays pretty clean, and it's a nipple waterer. This one is heated as well in the winter. So in the summer, the warmer weather, I just unplug it and then I move it around. This dog cage shelter, the pen, metal pen, has these great ceiling panels as well. It comes with it, along with this. Again, it does come with the top, I believe. And I like to attach things with carabiners or hooks. It's super handy, super handy. So I can move them around. So like if I want the chickens to spread the mulch by digging and scratching, like a lot of times I can just move the feeder somewhere different, and then I'll come back and there will be a new area that is all dug up that they've done. What is the matter? What are you yelling about? Hello, Astrid. Hello, baby. Who's yelling? They're all yelling. Okay, so they're out there. Now they're getting some food. I had thrown some Brussels sprout leaves out there too last night. Get it there. So, and it's all covered right now with this tarp. And I know it looks really, really jank. At some point we are going to build it. We're going to make it more permanent and secure. The tarp, this long tarp has lasted so far at least a year, which is good. But we also have like tie down straps over the tops to keep it all from blowing and blowing, and then we threw ropes over the top of the tarp on those sides every, I don't know, couple feet. So this holds up really well now when it's super windy. When there's a windstorm, it doesn't blow around, it doesn't disappear. All right, so let's go in here. Hello, Noelle. Noelle thinks that chicken poop tastes like candy, which makes Chief want to throw up, but that's the way it is with dogs. All right, so the latch. This is so if the door closes, I can get out by pulling on the string. So we got I put the linoleum in. Back up, back. All right. Let's see. I put the linoleum in and straw down, and then I put these anti-skid things we had for our treads that we had for our stairs indoor here, because I don't want us to trip and fall and break hips. That would be bad. So right now what I do, I'm going to clean out the chicken coop. So do this, kind of keep the door open just to get some fresh air in. Anyway, and this is where they come from, up the ramp here. So it's kind of a long drop, so I like to push this up here for right now. I'm gonna have to make probably another little ramp here, or a little platform. But right now they just kind of plop into the straw. That's all right. But they have plenty of floor space. Yesterday, hi. You all right? Yeah, I moved things a little bit. You get over it. Yesterday they startled somehow, and I looked in here. I was coming in to look for eggs. I still have just these milk crate egg boxes I made, nest boxes. And soon I'll probably add, actual real nest boxes on the wall, just up a little bit, so that they have floor space again to move around or when there's bad weather. But there are a bunch of the little ones who are all up, way up in here. Like, they think it's like really secure up in there, and they're just laying in there, just, being secure. What? Orange? Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness gracious. It's straw fever. And I use straw. Not hay. Some people don't like straw, but I like it because it really absorbs it all. And then I can take this straw and use it as mulch directly in my garden beds. They break it down pretty well. You can see in the pen the pieces are a little bit smaller. But I could probably add a little bit more, but I just like to stir it around a little bit just to catch any little poops that might have been happening. There. Anyway. Damn, move on. Alright, I talked about lighting. I have the little twinkle lights on copper wire that go all the way around the outside, and then I have these lights that can do they can do like multiple modes, but basically on and off is what I need. So if I have to come in here like in the winter time to clean the coop out or check for eggs or whatever, I can just turn these right on and they're ready to go. So I got those going on. I have this insulation board up because when Chief hammered in all the shingles on top, there's all these nails sticking out. And I didn't want the chickens, because they're kind of down that way, to fly up and run into the nail. So now I have to figure out how to keep this insulation up. Because there's a slight slope. There's a slight slope for the roof going this way. And that can vent that way. The air can come out that way. And then I also have to figure out what I want to do with these sides. How I want to cover them. Because they say chickens need ventilation, but not drafts. And every time I hear drafts, I think of giraffes. So here's their roosts. The big ones are usually, and they're 8 foot long. So the big ones are usually all up in here. The little ones are usually down here. Here's my poop table, and that's all it does, is it collects poop. It collects the poop, except for the poop that goes down this way. So I gotta figure out a solution for that. This table can come in and out. It is not secured to the wall. And I did that deliberately so I can have access to the bottom. But I also have a lot of straw down here that's catching the poop. Yes, Shekinah. That's catching the poop. And I can keep my poop bucket in here. I got my metal kitty scooper. And it's not a hard process at all. It's really simple. It's not difficult. I don't have to touch it. Great. I just made more poop there. I just basically bring it over to the middle. The middle seems to be the easiest way to get it. I mean, there's more poop to pick up because there's more chickens. And then scoop and shake. Scoop and shake. Scoop and shake. I think you get the point. And then I'll put it down in the bucket. When the bucket's full, put it in the compost. Or in the fall, in the winter, I'll actually spread it all up and down with the shrubs, in the trees, and in the beds. And it has time to break down and compost a little bit in the winter time. If it gets stinky, I do have some stuff. What's it called? Oh, coop refresher. And I can sprinkle that pretty well. But it doesn't, because I scoop the poop every day, it doesn't get stinky. At least not yet. Maybe because it's new too. But it doesn't get that stinky. But so I have that. And then this is the kind of sand I use for these. Is I can't lift it right with one hand. It's Step 2 from Lowe's. And it's paver sand. So it's got fine sand, but it also has like the rocks and stuff too that are not going to, it's not going to spread a lot of dust. I don't like the beach sand or the play sand for kids. I like step 2 because it seems to do the trick best for this area. So anyway, this is the coop so far. And when I'm done, because it's nice and cool in the evening, I go ahead and I close this window up just to keep the cooler air in. I do have a small thermometer. I should probably put the big thermometer in there. It says right now it is about 54 in here, so not bad. But yeah. So there's the old coop. You can see how low it is. And the new coop. And that's about all I was going to tell you today. I got to keep going. I got other stuff to do on my day off. And now you can see, oh, here you go. Here's a view. The gray cloth underneath is the original one that came with it, and you can see the plastic straps that came with the gray cloth. That's a kennel cover, dog kennel cover, but it started shredding and deteriorating because of the weather, the severe-ish weather, hot and cold and things like that. Snow would build on top of it, ice would build on top of it. Rain was starting to come in, so now we have this tarp, which is better. It's better than what we had, but we can't rely on that forever, so we will be building more secure roofing so that the chickens remain dry and safe on the inside of the pen. And then this area we call the tunnel area. I just took PVC and garden fencing and put that over the PVC, and then we put a tarp over it. And you know, it's not necessarily protecting from all of the rain, but it does keep that area shaded. And if I come out quietly and I look inside the tunnel, I'll be able to see them laying on the ground staying cool. And then in the winter, I take cheap shower curtains from Walmart. Well, they're not cheap, not as cheap as they used to be, but clear shower curtains to allow all the light in. And I will secure them to the sides of the pen all the way around. I'll probably leave about a gap, a little bit of a gap at the top, again for ventilation. And because it does get really warm. And this works really well for the winter time. It raises the temps in the winter probably, I don't know, at least 10 degrees. And that helps keep the water from freezing that is not in the heated waterer. And I think I'm about done. That's all I got to say about that, basically. So that is it. And then currently the new garage that we wanted to put in there over there in that car lot right now, that is on hold, which we have to do a variance with the city. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Like anything. That's my motto. Here's the old garage, which was nice for him, but it's not as functional as a new garage would be to be able to work on the cars that he does. So we'll see what happens. Like anything. And then there's the old barns that we get to view right up in here. And there's this is where the flock of vultures live. They raise their young up in there, and I say flock because there ends up being like 6 or 7 vultures. And they're so graceful. And they're so pretty. Flying. Up close they're really ugly, but they're very pretty flying. Alright, anyway, that is it. That is it. That is it. I don't know, I hope you got some ideas, or you got some critique you can give me, or some suggestions. I'd love them. I accept all suggestions if they are presented in a decent way. Alright, Tammy Lowe, Lazy Northern Gardener. Coming to you live from Macomb Township, Michigan. Love y'all. Love ya. Learn and grow, and learn and grow some more.